Welcome to the Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act at a time.
This week on the Kindness Project, we talk about chipfolks, celebrities, and we have part 2 of our interview with Eddie Ross from Into the Mind podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to the Kindness Project. I'm joined by a man who now owns a bike rack. It's Chris Davies.
And I am joined by a young lady, not a girl anymore, a young lady who thinks chipfolks makes people happy. It's Charlotte Danes. How you doing?
They do make people laugh.
They do make people laugh. Tell your chipfolk story.
I have 2 chipfolks, and I said to someone earlier, they were going on about something.
I love the compassion they were going on about.
Well, I don't remember it because
they were upset about something.
Yeah, my brain's been a bit slow today because I didn't have any caffeine this morning. That's not the point. And I felt in my pocket, and I felt 2 chipfolks that I'd picked up at the canteen, and I pulled one out and I said, "Can I offer you a chip fork in this trying time?"
Yeah, like a chipfolk saves the day. And we are joined by a man who's meant to be producing the podcast, but he's too busy checking his phone, Russ. I saw that. It's Russell Davies. How we doing?
Oddly enough, that was work emails, not.
Suck it, Dad.
No. You don't. There is no such thing as multitasking. And the reality is, if you're checking your phone at a time when you're meant to be producing the podcast, that is, regardless of what the emails are, you should be doing it. You want to focus on the task at hand.
That is correct. I should.
And
I noticed how you skirted over the bike rail.
the bike rail? What bike rail?
Yeah, what are you doing with a bike rail?
I'm not skirting over it. I've got a bike rack. I am commuting to work on my push bike on a daily basis. And you know what the most embarrassing thing is? I've been doing that for a few weeks now. I'm enjoying it. I tell you what though, today has been the coldest it's been, and it's meant to be. Did you
It's
say?
coming colder. Look, I saw. I've read 4 or 5 news articles now that say that there is a Arctic is up north. I get Antarctic and Arctic.
Arctic's up north.
So there's an Arctic wind coming. Only Russell can see the hand movements I'm making, but there's an Arctic wind coming down, and so it said it could reach as low as Brighton, which means that we are likely to get hit with sort of.
The reality is, the next few weeks it's going to get cold, and I will be biking every single day in that cold because I've got triple layers on. I'm keeping warm, but the embarrassing thing is, and for the first time since Russ put a stick in the front wheel of my bike when I was 8, I fell off my bike the other day. So I'm riding along the. Sorry,
I was trying to hold a burp in to respect the podcast's integrity.
I thought you was going to say you was just meant to do a burpee, wasn't it? So I'm riding my bike along. Anybody who knows East London particularly well may know the old A13, the 1306. Bit of road chat for you. I was riding at night along there. I had my lights on, but I didn't see the bottom of a safety traffic cone. Now, I assume that safety traffic cones are designed to keep you safe. Not that one, because it wasn't attached to the top. It was black and dark, and I fell right over it. Like a somersault over my handlebars, and ended up smack bang on the floor. And for the first time in a long time, since probably 8, when Russell tripped me off that bike that time, Russ, do you remember? I've got a grazed knee. I've not had a grazed knee for years.
You didn't whip your trousers, did you?
Sorry?
Did you whip your trousers?
No, I didn't, because my trousers are pretty robust, but I didn't graze.
I see a funny story about a woman that reviewed some leggings the other day.
I love that story.
She fell down a mountain the leggings was totally intact. Yeah, apparently.
I read about that story. Can you tell me a bit more about it?
So this woman, there's a picture of it, and she wore these leggings, and she fell down the side of a mountain, and there's just a picture of her clinging to the side of this mountain, and she's like, "These leggings held out while I was falling down a mountain."
Job done.
Good leggings.
You want leggings that stay intact while you're falling down the mountain, don't you? That's good. Was she all right? I mean, clearly she is. She wouldn't have wrote the review, but yeah. So maybe I should review my chinos, my Marks and Spencer's chinos, saying Marks and Spencer's chinos. You fall off a bike and they keep you pretty robust. Marks and
I mean, you've
Spencer's.
got a scrape knee,
Other chino manufacturers are available, clearly.
but that's a quid.
But if Marks and Spencers do want to give us some sponsorship, we love your chinos or a free pair of chinos.
I'll take a free pair of chinos for myself.
Yeah, I don't mind a free pair of chinos. What would you like from Marks and Spencers for us?
Nothing from Marx's. I prefer Waitrose.
You feel better. What are you having from Waitrose?
I usually buy meat in Waitrose. The quality is
Waitrose.
as well.
Where's Waitrose?
Waitrose.
What's in Waitrose? Waitrose, you mean?
No, we're not all pushing up market. You pretend to be, but I know.
Sorry, no. The name.
I thought Waitrose was a posh shop.
No. The name of the shop is WAITROSE. Waitrose. That's how you say it. What do you say?
Right once, I can do it again.
Waitrose? Sorry, say again.
I tripped you off a bike once, I can do it again.
Okay, you can find me cycling in Waitrose.
And be careful.
I'll be cycling around Waitrose right there.
I might come and stay and hide under your bed and kick you a little.
You did that already, Russ, didn't you? That's your Saturday night hobby. Anyway, on that note, we have got a question in the podcast, as we always does. What's your favourite supermarket? Unofficial question of the podcast. What's yours, Russ?
Waitrose.
Waitrose is Russ's. I quite like a bit of Sainsbury's.
Good for you.
I like a bit of Sainsbury's. I mean, I know Mum shops in like one of those like sort of budget little Aldi places for the essentials, but
We shop at Lidl.
Well,
little, little, wasn't it?
I do my weekly shop at Morrison's.
Morrison's, okay. Supermarket chat, super stuff. That's not the question of the podcast. The question of the podcast is, what song always makes you smile? Anybody want to answer?
Walking on Sunshine.
Walking on Sunshine. That is a track. Boom. How about yours, Russ?
Where you been a Cotton Eye Joe?
Is that song not about
God.
sexually transmitted diseases?
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure it is.
Yeah, Russ. Where you been, Cotton Eye Russ? Where you been, Cotton Eye Russ? Whose bed you been lying under? What you picked up in that bed? Cotton Eye Russ, go. There we go. Where you been? I didn't realise that. It was about.
There are
No, did I?
quite a few old songs that are about.
Is that change of context a bit, Russ?
No.
You want to pick a new song, Russ?
You want to pick a new song?
I thought it was about a geezer called Joe.
But where has he got to, Cotton Eye Russ? It's not anymore. It's Cotton Eye Russ now. That's what we're calling it. Where you got to, Cotton Eye Russ? Why are you making all that fuss?
So it's not the words Cotton Eye Joe, but
No.
Everybody do-si-do.
Let's sing it. I tell you what, though. I mean, you couldn't have picked a worse song apart from your second choice, Crazy Frog.
No.
Oh no, you're not going for that one. Okay, fair enough. So, ladies and gents,
Oh, you haven't answered.
I quite like "Bring Me Sunshine" by Morecambe and Wise, and there's so many. "Three Little Birds" by Bob Marley, I love. "Cotton Eye Russ" by Cotton Eye Russ. Where you got to Canaveras? Why are you making all that?
That's not how Cotton Eye Joe goes at all.
No, it's not how Cotton Eye Joe goes, but it is how Cotton Eye Russ goes. It's the sequel to Cotton Eye Joe. Anyway, Cotton Eye Russ, where do people hear about us? Does Russell know? Russ is getting a go at this today. Go on, then, Russ. Where can people find us?
You can find us on Facebook at Hola Kindness. Hola.
Hola.
Not
Hola.
on Facebook, you don't.
Not on Facebook. It's the Kindness Project on Facebook.
No.
You got it wrong day one, Russ. First chance.
Hola. I've made sure that at Hola Kindness, you can find us on Facebook.
I'm looking for it now. Where else can people find us?
At Hola Kindness on Twitter. The
At Hola
email
Kindness on
address is
Twitter.
hola at hola.
Hola. Hola.
A little
I mean,
much,
I mean,
Hola.
Charlotte misses the H, but like hola, H Rose, why Charles?
It's been a long day.
Clearly, you need a trip to White House. Go to have a coffee. Go on.
Hola at thekindnessproject.co.uk. You can find us on the web, thekindnessproject.co.uk, www.thekindnessproject.co.uk, or http://
What?
the
What's all the double dot slash?
thekindnessproject.co.uk.
Right, whoever does that anymore? http://
Russ, you don't have to.
Let's make it
We're not living in 1991, Russ.
Doesn't
Be grammatically correct though. You can find us that way.
You can. And I've just put Hola Kindness in Facebook, and Russ is right. It does come up with the Kindness Project straight away.
Well,
Why
So-
wasn't it saying the full title?
Well, if you just Google you just put the Kindness Project in Facebook, you'll find us. If you Google the Kindness Project, you'll find us. We're
Yep.
all over the show.
If you Google it and go on the website, all of the social media should be on there anyway.
sorry,
And-
that's not quite true. The Kindness Project podcast, Google.
Google the Kindness Project podcast, and you will find every single episode we have ever done,
And question.
and question the podcast and all that sort of stuff on the website. One thing one thing we're rubbish at, which we'd love you to do, listeners, is leave us a review. So we've been lucky enough over the history of our podcast for loads of people to write really nice stuff about what we do. We'd still love it, and we'd love to carry on. But what helps us is if you recommend a friend to listen to the Kindness Project, that would be amazing. And if you can just leave us a review on any of the the podcast platform of your choice, that does us a massive favour as well. And on that note, can we get on with the show? So, first thing I want to talk about is one little bit of
Kindness.
now. I've just told Russell about checking his phone while
Sorry, I just wanted to see if we had any reviews on Google, and on Google Podcasts. I actually can't find us on Google Podcasts.
why are we not on Google Podcasts?
We are on Google Podcasts. They're updating their system. They've been doing it for nearly a month now.
Oh,
They're updating all their systems,
Right.
and it hasn't come back up yet. We are on Google.
He's on it.
We are on Google Podcasts though. Because you sent me the one where they removed the picture, didn't you?
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
updating it all now.
Let's get on with Kindness News because it's all gone a bit technical. Let's talk about Marvel Kindness News Marvel Edition.
it's not. It's Celebrity Edition.
Celebrity Marvel Edition.
No, it's not. It's just Celebrity Edition.
Okay, Chris Evans becomes Captain America again for a 6-year-old who saved sister from dogs. Chris Evans, Captain America, is coming out of retirement. Though Avengers Endgame seemed like the last time we'd see Evans as the character, the actor adopted the persona again to recognise a real-life hero, 6-year-old Bridger Walker. On the 9th of July, Bridger put himself between a charging dog and his 4-year-old sister, suffering several injuries to his face and head. He apparently said later, if someone had to die, I thought it should be me. Do you remember that time when I saved you when the radiator nearly dropped on your ass?
I remember you mentioning it once or twice.
And they're not mentioning it. It happened. You literally, the radiator fell down. I held the radiator. You ducked under, and I'm there holding the radiator.
Just I'll fire a minute. You come out with these wacky stories about holding radiators.
Wacky. That's true.
And being
Are you denying you put a stick in my wheel and I fell over on my BMX?
Being thrown off a BMX bike. I don't know if you remember, but I hit you with a metal grill on the field over by Ironway.
You're not making it better for yourself.
I tell you what, I remember. I remember you poking a wasp's nest and running all the way home.
Remember that? I didn't poke it. I pulled the stick out.
Well, Peter, let your stick in. Right. Anyway, I saved Russell from a radiator. And I never got Captain America come to see me, but Bridget definitely deserves this.
To be fair, was Captain America around in your childhood?
No, Chris Evans wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I was a child in the 80s. He apparently said, like, if someone had to die, I thought it should be me. Bridget's surgery lasted around 2 hours, and he got more than 90 stitches. His Aunt shared the story open to get Bridget some encouragement from his favourite big screen superheroes, and the Avengers assembled. Oh, I like this. Since that time, the family said they've heard from Hugh Jackman, Anne Hathaway, Zachary Levi, Mark Ruffalo, Tom Holland, the Russo brothers, and Robbie Amell. And on Wednesday, it was Evan's turn. And Evans put something, sent him a video, and watched Bridger, who is a massive fan of Captain America, in a Captain America suit. On the video, he said, "Hey Bridger, Captain America here. How you doing, buddy? I've read your story. I saw what you did, and I'm sure you've heard a lot of this over the last couple of days. But let me be one to tell you, pal, you're a hero." What are you thinking about that story? So you've got a cough coming.
Yeah.
Okay. What you did was so brave, so selfless. Your sister is so lucky to have you as a big brother. Your parents must be proud of you. Evans continued saying it sent Bridger an authentic Captain America shield, and even though his recovery is tough, there's nothing that can slow him down. Marvel, you may have just found your next Captain America.
I thought Sam Wilson was the next Captain.
Well, I mean, let's not go down a Marvel rabbit hole, but yeah, maybe.
We do love a bit of Marvel.
Maybe if
I know about this next one.
Maybe you can tell everybody about this one, but maybe if Twitter existed when that radiator nearly fell on Russell, I'd be the current Captain America.
When I'm fire, I could be the current Captain America as long as all the bad guys ride bikes.
Or you share the bunk bed with a bad guy and you punch him with a stick. Shooting that stick, Russ. I'm sure you punch.
It's all the same stick.
It is. Listen, let's not pretend the other people were the bad guys. You're the one with the stick.
That's the same stick Daddy used to threaten us with, then lived under the stairs.
You're like a supervillain. Man with stick as a supervillain. Right.
To be fair, there is that guy that can just turn into ice cream, and that's his superpower.
Who's that?
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Yeah,
Sorry, you just made that up.
No.
In what universe is that?
I think it's Marvel.
Ice cream. Okay.
I think it's in the comics.
Right, tell us about Harry Styles. Go on.
Cool. This is in the mirror. I was reading the mirror the other day.
I was looking in the mirror the other day.
I don't like looking in the mirror.
I'm talking to the man in the mirror.
I don't really talk to the man in the
I'm
mirror.
asking you. Anyway, go on. Tell the story.
There isn't a man in my mirror.
I hope not. As long as there's not a man in your cupboard.
Right.
And you just imagine, right, you open your cupboard and there is a man in your cupboard, it's Russell with the stick.
I wouldn't let no, because
Don't let it do you for example, don't let it prod your radiators. Anyway,
my radiator doesn't work.
tell us about Harry Styles.
You're interrupting me. I wouldn't let Russell in my cupboard. I keep a sword in there. Harry Styles paused concert to help nervous fan come out to her mother in the sweetest way. Harry Styles helped a nervous fan come out to their mother live on stage. The former One Direction star was performing during the Milwaukee leg of his Love on Tour concert series on Wednesday night when the sweetest moment... This is an old article. When the sweetest moment happened. Fan McKinley McConnell was in the crowd at Fiserv Forum with a sign that read, "My mum is in section 201, help me come out." Harry, a vocal supporter of the LGBTQ plus community, was more than happy to help out. Seeing the sign, the star held a microphone out for McKinley to break the news herself, but the nervous fan got stage fright, telling the singer there were a lot of people present. Ever the ally, Harry stepped in to get the message across to the other side of the audience. The sign of the Times singer, 27, made the announcement on behalf of his young fan, telling thousands in the arena, "Lisa, she's gay!" I love this video.
Lisa.
There's a video. I love it. The crowd erupted into cheers and applause as Harry shouted into his microphone. The stadium cameras then quickly turned to McKinley's mother, Lisa.
Lisa, she's gay.
Who was overcome with emotion after hearing her daughter's announcement via an international pop star. There's a typo there.
All right. You've got to read it as you go through it. That's shocking from the mirror, though.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the mirror.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to ruin a moment, but wouldn't it be nice if you were a little bit closer together, Harry joked, referencing the difference between mother and daughter.
Oh, very nice.
Wait.
Well,
I just want to scrap. There's more. McKinley took to Twitter shortly afterwards to share the precious moment with her followers and thank the star for his help. Tagging Harry in the tweet, she wrote, "A moment that will actually be with me forever. Thank you for creating a safe place for me. Thank you for letting me grow alongside you as a fan. Thank you for helping me know who I am. Thank you." Elsewhere on Twitter, her Twitter account, the fan shared a snap of her mother, the famous Lisa, sporting some Harry Styles merchandise. There's another typo.
Right. In a sweet image shared by McKinley, they can be seen beaming from the camera and proudly holding up a t-shirt with the former X Factor stars facing it. "Everyone meet Lisa!" McKinley began her tweet. "She is overjoyed and also wanted everyone to know she had the best time and couldn't stop dancing tonight. She wanted me to show you she got all the merch, so thanks so much for all the love." This isn't the first time Harry's helped a fan come out during a performance. In 2018, the singer pulls the gig midway through to assist a fan coming out to her mother. While attending the gig in California, fan Grace displayed a double sign that read, "I'm going to come out to my parents because of you." Speaking to BuzzFeed, Grace said she made the sign as Harry is a proud supporter of the LGBTQ plus community and makes fans feel comfortable with who they are. Harry didn't just see the sign, he stopped the gig to chat with Grace and ask her mother's name. With his fans' permission, he announced on stage, "Tina is gay. She's gay. And Lisa, she's gay as well." To have Harry not...
Lisa and Tina aren't gay, their daughters are gay.
"Tina, Lisa, your daughters are gay." To help Harry not only read my sign, but ask my name.
Your daughter's gay.
No. To help, you've told me ages ago. To help Harry not only read my sign, but ask my name and my mother's, and help me come out to meant the absolute world to me, Grace later said about the event. Amazing stuff. Well done, Harry Styles. Well done, Lisa. Well done, Tina. Well done, Grace. And well done, the other girl. I can't remember her name now. But all good. Thank you. And on that note, let's move on to the next part of the show.
Tina! She's gay.
Lisa, she's gay. And what I want to do is move on to the next part of the interview with Eddie Ross. Now, Eddie runs an amazing mental health podcast that I've listened to, really enjoyed, and think that you should listen to. All of the details on the podcast are going to be in the show notes. And the conversation with Eddie was all around mental health, helping people understand some of the tips and techniques that you can use to improve your mental health, which Eddie's podcast talks about quite a lot. Eddie shares a bit about his story in this interview and talks about some of the tips that you should consider to potentially improve your own mental health. Shall we have a little listen?
Let's do it.
A bit like
Tell
that.
me a bit about the page. Talk to me. So is that on Facebook?
It's
Is
on
that-
Instagram.
Instagram.
We haven't gone through to. I keep saying we like it's an organisation. It's not. It's just me. I do everything on it on my own. It's just on Instagram at the moment. So it's
And
basically.
these are where the videos are, right?
These are where the videos are. All the motivational quotes. I've had other guests come on the page and stuff like that to speak. I've actually been asked to do a bit of motivational speaking about mental health in companies now,
Yeah.
so I'll be putting that onto it. But it's more like little sentences, little phrases, little quotes that you can read it in the morning and think, "Do you know what, that's me."
That's giving me a boost for the day.
Yeah, but like one of my most liked posts actually was, "Do you ever feel like you have your demons locked up, but you're the one who gives them the key?"
Yeah.
And then people start going, "Oh yeah, I've got this and this and this going on," but sometimes I think about it and boom, I'm down into the ground again.
Gotcha.
So you are the only one who lets that demon
Who's
out.
in control? Yeah.
Exactly, but yeah, everything is on there. Even the links to the website and to the podcast, it's all on there, and that's where I actually speak to a lot of. I don't like to say clients, but that's where I speak to a lot of people about their mental health. So I actually book them into little slots through the day because I work 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit hard. So in the evenings, I'll say to someone, "Okay, well, if you want to talk to me, you can talk to me between 6 and 7,
Okay.
and we'll have that slot." So I actually speak to people every day, all different, all people from around the world, and
Just supporting them through their own journeys.
because I'm not involved.
Yeah.
I'm not involved in anything that actually goes wrong.
Well, I mean, I suppose what you said was really interesting because the story that I like the most, and I'm pretty sure we've told it on the podcast before, but the story I like the most is the one about a granddad and is speaking to his grandson, and he said, "In your mind, there's two wolves." Have you heard the story?
No.
So in your mind, there's two wolves. There's one that's full of worry and doubt and insecurity and hate and all of this all these negative emotions. And there's one that's full of love and hope and joy and happiness and kindness and all of that sort of stuff. And these two wolves are always sort of fighting. And the little boy turns around and goes, "Granddad, who wins? What wolf wins?" And the granddad just says, "The one you feed." And it's really
Interesting.
See, I love that story because it does. And again, it's a very simple analogy to, as humans, we're complex, aren't we? It doesn't describe everything we go through, but part of the work you do on your podcast, and part of the work we try and do on the Kindness Project is highlighting there is hope. Highlighting that there is stories and ways of coping that we.
There is the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
The sun comes up every day. The moon comes out every night. It doesn't wait for you. You need to get on and keep going. And so if the sun rises, there is hope for you as well.
Yeah, agreed. What's throughout the work you've done on the podcast and the work you've done to speak to people every day, what's the greatest misconception that most people have about their own mental health or just mental health in general?
Greatest misconception. It's a good one actually. Like I said to you about people think that if you're helping everyone all the time, then you must be all right. That's a big one because there'll be weeks where I'm actually really struggling, and no one will know because I'm Mr. Positive on my page for you. That's a big one.
But there's a perception that positivity means that you're okay, and that's a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, and that you
Firstly-
can have toxic positivity.
Yeah.
Whereas you're lying to yourself and you're lying to others, and that then puts you in some sort of alter ego. You are Mr. Happy, you are Mr. Cheerful.
You've got
and you can't keep that character up.
Yeah. Firstly, and again, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask this. How are you at the moment?
At the moment, I'm fine.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, look, mate, it's nice to be asked, isn't it? So
It is
I
nice.
thought I'd be the one, hopefully,
Thank
to
you.
ask
First
you.
one in weeks.
I've got this little image of you having like a little counter on your phone, right? Chris said it on the 11th of October. When are we gonna?
I'm gonna send you a Christmas card saying thank you for
mate,
asking.
just send me a little message. I'll ask how you are anytime you want. So, and then I suppose the other thing is what is that? How do we make sure we maintain positivity, but we're honest about the mental health challenges we have?
Because you're allowed to have down days.
Yeah,
you are allowed to have bad days. And then bad days can turn into weeks, and that's all right.
Yeah.
As long as you mention it, because otherwise no one's going to know that you are that way. And it's better for your surroundings to know so they can check up on you. Whether that be friends, family, work colleagues. As long, I sometimes go up to my boss at work and say, do you know what, I'm not feeling myself for the last couple of days. I'll check up on you again in like a couple of weeks' time just to let you know how I'm doing. That's fine. So if I am in some sort of issue or trouble, at work, then he'd go, okay, well, he has told me he's got stuff on. That does work with friends.
And do you think, certainly I've got perspective on this, but do you think stigma around having conversations about mental health still exists?
Mental health, definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
mean, it's getting there. It's very slowly but surely. But we've still got a lot of work to do because there's always going to be that stigma of, as you're the man, you're the provider, you're the rock, you're the strong one, you're the one who goes to the gym, you're the hard man. I go to the gym to try and keep everything else at bay. That's how I release my endorphins. So it's that was a massive stigma that I tried to do. Do you know what? My actual target audience for the page and podcast was meant to be for men. And I have 70% women listeners.
but then part of that might be because women are more comfortable having conversations about it.
Yeah, definitely they are.
Interestingly, I was saying before the podcast about the interviews we did with Ollie Smith, and for listeners of the podcast, definitely check Ollie's interviews out, because particularly in certain professions and sectors, we think we need to be number one right all the time, which is absolute nonsense, isn't it? Nobody is perfect, but also number two, strong. And this perception of strong then doesn't allow us to have open and honest conversations about ourselves.
It's because the strong is manly. And it's like, well, am I not allowed to have emotion?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Is it because, that I do this and I do that, and that it doesn't actually make me less of a man if maybe I actually want to sit there and cry and let everything out? It shouldn't do. But there is that perception that it is still there.
Or put your hand up every now and again and go, look, I'm struggling a bit.
Yeah.
I just need to talk this through, or I need some help, or I need 10 minutes, or whatever it is. Just admitting that you haven't got to be perfect.
You are allowed to put up your hand and say that I'm not feeling myself. And that was one of my biggest regrets, was not asking for help sooner.
Was that when you were, and again, if you don't want to talk about this, that's fine, but when you were addicted, or later, or
yes, whilst I was struggling with addiction, I wish that I asked for help a lot sooner. But I think that was more like the in denial, that no, you're all right, don't worry about it, you're all good. And that's not me talking, that's the addiction. And we say, like, I like to say taking drugs or alcohol is a choice, but addiction is a disease. It does come into it where the disease actually takes over, and that controls all of your thought processes, all of your emotions, and they're never happy. They might be happy for 5 minutes, and then the rest of the day it is absolutely depressing.
Okay,
it's awful.
So I suppose the other thing, it's really interesting when it comes to mental health, because the other thing I often think is how amazing some of these tools are that we've got now digitally to talk to other people, again, from around the world, share some of these ideas and stories, help people positively, but also how some of these tools can be detrimental to our own mental health. What do you think about that, like, sort of challenge?
Social media. That's the worst thing and the best thing in the world. Social media, for the fact that everyone has to be a certain person, and you have to dress a certain way, you have to look a certain way, you have to be tanned, you have to be this, you have to be rich. that's not everyday life.
Yeah.
For normal people, it's not.
Yeah.
And for that couple that you aspire to be, who's on social media, who's always in Dubai and who's always at posh restaurants, no one knows that actually they argue every day and they're massively in debt from the holidays.
Yeah.
And that's what's really bad. And obviously the trolling that goes on, the abusive messages. But then obviously I've spoken to the best people ever through Into the Mind, and the strongest people ever who I would never have spoken to in the street.
Yeah. And that's the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's such a great connector, and we get to get windows of the world where you can have really interesting conversations with people you'd never connect with, and it was funny. We've had a guy on the podcast who I knew sort of vaguely, and this was a couple of years ago, an amazing guy called Patrick Luong. And the reason I knew him is because he was in our professional field, so he worked as a financial planner. And his story is amazing because he did his own financial plan and worked out he didn't want to be a financial planner anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he said, okay, I don't think this is, because a lot of the conversations we have with clients isn't always about money. It's about purpose and what you want to do with your life, and then linking the money to allow you to do that, but working out what really inspires you to live the life you want. Luckily, I love being a financial planner, so I'm going to carry on. But Patrick didn't. And he left to work in the charity sector.
Okay.
So I said to him, look, come along and we'll have a conversation about life, but we'll also have a conversation about charities. I think he was working for WaterAid at the time. So we had a conversation about the amazing work they do supplying clean water to various parts of the world. But and he listens to the podcast and promotes the podcast. He's been amazing in that regard. But I was running the marathon a couple of weeks ago. I was running round the back of Canary Wharf on the way to Canary Wharf, and suddenly up pops Patrick. Right, he's just there. I was like, I haven't seen you for last time he was on the podcast was 9 months ago. And the problem is, I'm quite tactile, right? So I'm running. I'm emotional anyway because I'm running the marathon's quite emotional. I'm about 16 and a bit miles in. Patrick goes, Chris, I'll see him and just give him a big cuddle.
Yeah.
And the problem is, we've had COVID. I don't know whether he's comfortable with a hug or not. And I haven't seen him for a while. And I'm all sweaty. And I just give him a big hug. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Yeah. I know I should have asked first. Normally,
you just wanted to wave.
I just wanted the human connection. So anyway, ran on. Got 17 miles where the charity was. I did it for St Francis Hospice. And my girls were there, my two daughters and my wife. Had a big hug from them. And then got to mile 23. There's Patrick again. So I was like, that cuddle couldn't have been too bad.
Yeah.
He knows it. So anyway, I actually... sorry, I'm being a bit noisy. I actually asked him this time whether he wanted a cuddle or not.
Yeah,
and he did. So it was all right. But yeah.
Well, I think it would have been a bit late to ask now, wouldn't it? Just be like, we've done it once, let's do it again.
Exactly. We've broken all the rules already. We need to make sure that we're being a bit careful.
Human contact is key.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. And I think during lockdown we've missed that, haven't we?
Yeah.
That sort of just...
Yeah, we was all so deprived of human contact.
Yeah,
I didn't think we'd ever get to a point where we'd be deprived of human.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about the... in terms of the key topics on the podcast where you thought, you know what, I really need to talk about this, and the feedback you've got from the podcast so far.
Probably reason why.
Right.
The reason why was a big one for me, and that I struggled for weeks writing it because every time I thought I'd finished, I read it through and it wasn't what I wanted. Delete, start again.
Right.
Wasn't what I wanted, delete again. So that took me ages because how you feel it and how you want to try and write it down is two totally different things. Because I need to put it out there for everyone else to kind of have the same perception of it. And
so talk to me a little bit about that. What do you mean by the reason why?
The reason why can change your life. And it changed mine. So as long as your reason why is big enough and it's strong enough, then you can do anything. So my reason why to come off drugs was my kid brother. I didn't want him growing up and knowing me to be that certain way, or even not being around and stuff like that. So he was my reason why. I have another person on my Into the Mind who said that her reason why after I released it was her daughter's, who she has bipolar, and she got diagnosed a little while ago and just refused all medication.
Right.
So now she started taking medication. Now she feels a lot better, and that's her reason why, was her kids. To then make a happy environment at home.
Yeah.
And someone else wanted to try and get a promotion at work. And I told them, what is your reason why to get that? What is your reason why to get the more money and the promotion? What is your main goal? And they told me what it was. I said, keep that in your mind.
And what was it?
Focus. It was to buy him and his girlfriend a house.
Okay.
They've now got a mortgage.
Yeah.
Because that was his reason why.
But you know what's interesting, Eddie? How much of people's reason why are about other people.
Yes.
And being what's your reason why for now to sitting here today? What's your reason why?
My reason why now is because I've got. It sounds a bit silly, but I've got too deep now with Into the Mind, where now people kind of rely on me and stuff like that. So my reason why now to carry on is for other people who I help, and it's the messages I get fed back of. Thank you so much for having a time with me. Thank you. I've now seen a therapist. I've now gone to rehab, and it's them thank yous that keep me going, and they're my reasons why.
Gotcha. But yeah, it's interesting how it's always related to being kind to others, isn't it? Or being or being,
It's almost like giving back. Your reason why is almost giving back to whether it's a family member, a friend, or society itself.
Yeah.
There's always something else that's bigger than you that you want to participate in.
Yeah.
And I think that if that is your main goal, then that's worthy of doing.
It's funny when I think about my reason why. I've thought about this a lot. It's teaching my kids. So for me, the element that is the big for me is teaching. I mean, one of the reasons we did the Kindness Project and started the Kindness Project is because I was trying to prove to both myself and my girls that you could do well and do good.
Yeah,
you can actually, have a positive impact in the world and make a decent living, and that sort of stuff. And everything that, if you trace back everything that I do when I get up in the morning, so that I don't think purpose comes from money. I think it comes from whether you're believing in what you're doing. Money might play a part in that, but certainly it's got to be a lot more than that. But getting up in the morning with a clear purpose, a clear reason why it's so important.
Well, you say about the money. That's my point exactly. Is that I don't get paid for Into the Mind. Nothing comes my way. It's all outgoing. So probably the only thing I get from it is where I sell the t-shirts and the wristbands. That is the only part that I get back. All my time I spend talking to people online every day. All my weekends of editing podcasts. I booked a studio myself. I book people's parking to make sure that they are comfortable coming on the show. I book, there's so many things that's outgoing that keeps the website and keeps the podcast, keeps everyone happy. But again, that's my reason why. But it's nothing to do with money.
No.
It's just about giving back.
But also, if you're, interestingly for me, and I don't know if this is the same for you, but part of my reason why is I'm always learning. So these conversations help me learn and grow as a human. Do you know what I mean? So having the opportunity to just, it is really interesting, because when you run a podcast, having the opportunity to just phone somebody up and go, "You're really interesting, can I have a conversation with you?" is a privilege.
Yeah.
So it's a really good way of sort of, meet, as you say, meeting interesting people, maintaining connections, and hearing from other people who are doing great stuff in the world. So that's why you're on it, because you're doing amazing stuff. I really love what you're doing.
So that was the second part of Eddie's interview. Hope you enjoyed that. And as we always do, it's the end of the podcast.
Ow.
But the end of the podcast is never the end of the podcast, because the end is always the beginning. And last week's question of the podcast was, what word always gets you tongue-tied, you misspell or you mispronounce? And we realised that Russ's word, and he didn't even know it, was Waiwos. Clearly, Waiwos. No, and did we mention what words we mispronounce? Because I always misspell anything with an I and an E in. I'm glad I'll get a high five for that one. I'm glad spell check actually exists. What's yours, Russ?
I have a few. Calendar's a real one I struggle with.
Calendar is difficult. So is feminism.
And definitely.
Well, as a concept, or as a...
No spelling.
It's under attack at the minute, feminism, depending on who you are. But yeah, there is a lot of answers to this. I mean, people were really super open about what they struggled with. Damien Clyburn said too many to mention, but when I read stuff back, I always nearly always leave the R off. Roger Edwards said separate. I always look at that word and think, no, that doesn't.
Yeah, I always think it's ERATE. It's not.
Carla Lanley said, I'm not even convinced I've got it right here. But phenomenon. I can't do that. Phenomenon.
Or phenomena.
And William Fridge says he always gets preliminary wrong. Ivor Harper says corollary. Oh, I've gone too far. Where's the dictionary? Corollary. I don't know. Martin, yeah, potentially. Martin McNamara says he gets everything wrong. And then Francis Barrett says, particularly, I put too many lollies, so it's particularly lolly. David Forsyth says, I've find no problem spelling stuff. What are you on about?
The entire sentence is spelled wrong.
It works better in text, doesn't it? Eve Keith said, topically, I can't say skeleton properly. Why topically? I don't know.
I think we asked this question around Halloween.
Yes. Sharon Adkins says, I really cannot type the word regards first time. I have used the word retards on a number of occasions.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, no, I didn't put that. It's a typo, not a. We're not using it in any other way. Russ, save us, Russ. As a dyslexic, I find the word dyslexia super hard to have children. As children said, I also can't say worry and spell the word spelt as strat. Many of an argument as a child, I was insistent I was right spelling stuff correctly. Jackie Bishop said, I struggle with the plastic bit you use to play a guitar. Is that a plectrum? I can't remember.
It's a pick.
Is it a pick? Okay, well, it's not that hard. Brian Hill said, I never know the difference between affect and effect.
No, I don't either.
Sandra Conlington said, bearing my job is in HR, I can't spell the word disciplinary. Be awkward. Carol Hassey said, I'm making Russell laugh. Carol Hassel said, I really struggled to say brewery. It wasn't an issue until I moved to Romford, which is really good. Sharon Hirsch said jewellery is the one I always get in her mother with. Louise McNamee said she struggled with the word investigative. Doug Bennett struggles with the word jewelry. And Gianpaolo Parodi said he struggled with rhythm and algorithm.
I mean, fair enough. They're spelled very differently, but they sound very much the same.
Very true. And on that note, my friends, that is the end of another podcast. We will see you next week on the Kindness Project.
Bye.
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 Bye.